In your book, you obviously, you're talking about the various stages in your life, and obviously you touch on the various men in your life, some of whom you've married and some of whom you haven't.
Yes.
Well, would you say that the lovely Percy has turned out to be the absolute love of your life?
Absolutely, yes. You know, I think that when you get married very, very young, as I did, you change so much between being 18 and being in your 60s, which is what I was when I met Percy. I'm a completely different person, and he is just so wonderful and so kind and so loving and giving, and he's bonded our family together. We are a very tight unit in our family. My 3 children, my 3 grandchildren, their various partners and everything, and my sister and brother.
That's wonderful.
You know, we were talking about the Beckhams earlier, and what Alex Ferguson said about them getting married, and in his view it all went wrong. Where do you stand on sort of relationships? So if Percy said to you, Joan, I don't want you to go off on that tour, what would you... Do you think you would take his word and do what he wanted, or...?
I told him not to go off on a tour once.
Did he go, Joan? Did he go?
No.
No, there you go.
I think that it's very important not to be separated too much. I really do. I think a week is maximum. And I've been on a lot of locations and a lot of tours, and I've seen what happens with different married people. And they have this expression, it doesn't count on location. I think that counts whether...
What goes on tour stays on tour.
Yeah, and it's not good. I like being with Percy. We're practically together 24 hours a day, and we're very happy with each other. We have our ups and downs, fights a little bit, but, I mean, who doesn't?
What do you fight about?
Little things like me interrupting him when he's trying to send 4,000 emails.
You're so demanding, Joan.
Yeah, I know.
Do you advocate a younger man, then?
Well, I always have. No, actually, I got married when I was 18, and he was 33. And then the second one, I was 27, and he was 30. And then it's gradually gone down.
Well, you kind of met... You met in the middle for a little while.
Yes, I did, actually. You strike me, Joan, as someone that family's really important to you.
Very.
And reading in the book, your grandmother was a massive influence to you, wasn't she?
Well, I wouldn't...
Tell us a bit about her.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that she was massive. There's some fabulous pictures of her in the book, because I have all these pictures from my early family.
There you go.
But I mean, literally, yes, there she is, in like 1906 or something, when just before my father was born. And she did encourage me in my desire to become an actress, even though my father was very much against it, because he was in the business, and he said that I wouldn't, if I became an actress, that it would all be over by the time I was 23. Yeah, because that was the prevalent thinking then, that if you started young, you see, you started 17 or 18, which is what I did, and then they got tired of you 5 or 6 years later. Well, now I think you can get about to 28 before they start getting tired of you.
Do you really think that, Joan?
I know it.
So you think
darling, I live in Hollywood. I live in Hollywood half the time, so I know.
It's about is it the looks thing, then?
It's very important now for young actresses in movies, I'm not talking about television or theatre, to be very thin and to be very young.
Yeah.
And if you look at the movies, I'm not talking about the movies, the serious movies, you know, that are just about people. I'm talking about the shoot-em-ups, the explosions.
The blockbusters.
The blockbusters, yes. And if you notice, you never see, unless it's somebody, an older woman playing like an executive, but all of the girls, very young and very thin. And I know because I have friends who are young actresses, and they are told, first of all, they're often told that they're too fat, which I was told when I first went to Hollywood. You're too fat, you're 9 stone. Or I was 8.5 stone, whatever I was, I had to take half of it off. I mean, half a stone off.
And shape has changed, hasn't it? How people perceive beauty, because Marilyn Monroe, even though she was tiny, was quite curvaceous, wasn't she?
She wasn't that tiny. I met her. She was about 5'4". But yes, she was curvaceous. And if you look at all those pictures of the women on TV, on those old movies that I love, they all had wonderful bodies, but they looked like women.
Yeah.
They didn't look like boys with boobs.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
False boobs.
Just click here to watch more interviews with a whole range of famous faces, and click here to subscribe. It's free, so you'd be silly not to, really.